regrets, no regrets.
No.
Apart from one. Should have taken the 20K.
Would have split it if we came up with a plan. That's what I would have done.
That's what the other 10 would have been sitting on.
I would have teamed up and gone, all right, let's do this together and get this money.
Hey everyone, I'm sorry about my late review. I'm on holiday in Spain. So I really wasn't in the mood to do a review. And also, given what happened in the last episode, I really don't... Oh, I've gone off the season. Anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island Australia, Season 5, Episode 28. I'm sorry about the poor quality of my mic. I left my mic at home. Anyway, I don't know where to start. I really am still very annoyed at the fact that people voted Nate and Georgia out, saying that they had, you know, they were the least compatible. And yet we have people sitting there that know that they don't like their partners. Anyway, so Sophie makes an offer of 20K and everybody's just looking around. And for me, it's like, just be honest. You're there for the money. Just take the money and go. There's no need for you to pretend like you're there for love. Who is there for love, really? Who? Of all the couples that are there, maybe Tyra. The rest, not really. They're there for the fame that comes with being on the show. They're there for the followers that they'll get after the show. I don't think they're there for the 25K, because they can surely make that at home without needing to go on TV. They're there for the celebrity status that comes with being on TV. They're there for the followers, and that's it. So everybody doesn't flinch. And Sophie takes the money and she says, well, if somebody had picked the money, then we would have deducted. I wish someone had picked it. I really do. I wish someone had picked it and they deducted it out of the prize pot. Then we would have seen everybody's true feelings about not only one another, but about being on the show. We would have seen how many people would have wanted to stay after that. Anyway, you have the couples go and sit in groups, and you have Savannah say, oh, you know, Reed was really thinking about taking the money. He really wanted to take. And it's like, Sav, please keep quiet. You and this man really have barely got to know each other. You should have taken the money. It would have not only, yes, you'd have been the villain, but you've already been portrayed as the villain throughout the season. So that would be nothing. You'd have got the money. It would have given you followers, and it would have given you more attention. I don't know why you sat there and pretended to be in love with this man who is just tolerating you. Clint, oh, he didn't say anything. Clint is very smart. Clint, I think, is after the star power that comes with being on the show. I know somebody said that he has a girlfriend. Apparently, I think they said he's got a music career or something. So I think that's what he's trying to sort of promote and be this amazing guy. I don't know. We'll see. Tyra and Kale, they're excited. They're in the final four. They get to spend more time together in Spain. And it's like, it's only a couple of days. You should be worried about going home. It's only a couple of days. You spending 2-3 days with Cal in Spain is not going to make any difference from you going back home. I don't get it. I've gone off them since the Nate stuff. And then you have Reed sort of speaking to Chloe. And it's like, Chloe, you should have pinched Reed and told him to take the money. The two of you could have split the money once you left the show, because there's no way the two of you think you're going to win that money. I don't get it. The producers are pushing for either Zach or Sav to win that money. That's the impression that I'm getting. Tyra and Kale will be lucky if they win the money. Maybe if the fans sort of scream and shout about them. But I think the producers want either Lucinda and Zach to win or Sav to win with Clint. Anyway, all the islanders go to sleep. This is after Lucinda has talked about, oh, we're going on a date. Oh, we're going. Oh, God. I can't take any more of her, please. Let it be over. I can't take any more. Anyway, the islanders go to bed and they're sort of talking, oh, there's half the people in the villa. Oh, the numbers have gone down. And it's like, it's only Nate and Georgia that left. Don't make it seem like Nate and Georgia were occupying the whole villa and suddenly, you know, you're worried that their absence has left a big gap in the villa when you really weren't bothered about them. You all came up with a stupid excuse. And even Sophie had to say to your faces that they were Georgia and Nate were an amazing couple. And so please sit down somewhere. I'm really not in for it. So the islanders go to sleep and everybody's in a happy place. And in the morning, Kale receives a text message and it's like, oh, okay. So we're going to see who the producer's favorite is because obviously they're going to get the most amazing date. I've seen it on Love Island that normally the producers' favorites are the ones that get the most amazing date, or the person that they've treated terribly, they try and compensate for by giving them an amazing date. So I have a feeling Sav is going to get an amazing date because of how she's been portrayed throughout the season. Anyway, Kale and Tyra get ready, they go on a date, and Tyra is actually saying, "Oh, I have a feeling I had a sort of a vision that we're going to go horse riding," and they actually do send them horse riding. Nothing stood out about that date apart from them being on horses. Nothing really. They had a little table by the seaside, and that was it. And it's like seriously, with all the budget you have, you could have given them something better. Anyway, they're having this conversation. I know they said they were exclusive, and I don't know why they felt the need to give it a title and say we're now boyfriend and girlfriend. And it's like you don't have to follow the Love Island playbook. That, oh, declare your love for one another. Now declare that you're boyfriend and girlfriend. Now declare that you love each other. I think it's too sort of programmed. That's how it's coming across now. Had they behaved the way they were behaving and left it to be just okay naturally, like they did with being exclusive, I think that would have been amazing. Now with them sort of playing according to the Live Island textbook makes me question whether they're now doing all this just because they want to win, or whether they really were planning on actually labeling each other boyfriend and girlfriend. I wish they'd gone into the real world and they'd seen whether they actually work as a team. And then once they noticed that they do work, then they could have given each other the boyfriend girlfriend title. But hey, it is what it is. If these people talk about how few people are left in the villa and how lonely it is now that everybody else is gone, one more time I'm going to scream. Anyway, back at the villa, you have Zach sitting with Lucinda and Sav with who else was there? Clint, Reed and Chloe sort of talking about, the people on their date and how lonely it is back at the villa and wondering what's going on with the date. It's like, what do you think, Sherlock Holmes? What do you think? Anyway, Reed receives a message to say he and Chloe are going on a date, and you can see who's the producer's favorites from the order in which they're going and from the amount or the budget that's been sent on their date. So Reed and Chloe have this, musician who's playing a guitar. They sit at the small little table. It's sort of a similar setting to what Kale and Tyra had. The only difference is one was at the beach side, one was sitting in front of this what looked like a church, not even an amazing church or a massive church, but hey, it is what it is. They seem to be having a great time. Reed is saying everything that he needs to say, but there's no sort of emotion behind it. I don't think Reed shares the same feelings with Chloe. I don't think there's a mutual sort of connection there. I think there are two people where one person likes the other, but the other one is tolerating the other person. I think if Reed had his way, or if he wasn't afraid of the bad label, he would have taken the money and gone, because he hasn't done or said anything that convinces me that he really likes Chloe. I might be wrong, but nothing he said or done convinces me that he likes Chloe. I think he tolerates Chloe better than he did most of the other girls, but I don't think he's as infatuated as you'd expect a guy to be. But hey, it is what it is. They seem happy. They're having a conversation, and it's just, it is what it is. Anyway, Tyra and Kale return back from their date, and they sort of describe their date and what went on and what they did. And everybody's like, "Oh, I wanted to go on a horse ride. And it's like, please don't, please. That's enough. Let's move on." Because obviously Saf will know she loves animals, and Lucinda has to exaggerate her response to everything. Zach wanted to go horseback riding, and we're like, we know all the money's being spent on the four of you left, so please keep quiet. Anyway, Saf receives a text message to say she's going on a date with Clint, which tells you already that Zach and Lucinda are going to have the most amazing date. Zach and Lucinda are the ones that the producers are pushing to win this thing, because there's no justification as to why they're still on the show. Given how Zach has behaved throughout the season, how he has bullied fellow islanders, how he's been derogatory towards some of the girls, I'm surprised they're, rewarding him with all these prizes. There's no need for him to be in the top 40. There's no need for him and Lucinda to be the ones going on the last date. but it is what it is. Sav has this conversation on their date about, oh, look, just imagine the last person, one of the first people to come in, it has a connection with the guy who was the last one to come in. And it's like, you have to come to Adelaide. And I'm just sitting there watching it, and I'm like, we heard that Sav and Clint played this relationship for what it was not. Clint apparently already had a girlfriend who dropped him off at the airport when he went to Spain. So I'm really not buying that couple. I'm sorry if my review is I just feel some type of way about the way they got rid of people that actually had a connection and kept people that didn't have a connection. So I don't know. It is what it is. I've really been wondering why the sudden turnaround, why the producers decided to suddenly revamp Sav. And part of me thinks it's because of the movie night and the things that were said by Trent. I have a feeling Savannah threw a fit, and the producers decided to sort of revamp her and make her the best version of herself, because there's no justification as to why she's suddenly being portrayed in this positive light. Oh, she's an animal lover. Oh, she's very caring. She's very compassionate. She's not as crass as she was at the start of the show. She's grown. She's more mature. She's in a relationship with someone who's not toxic. There's no way all of this just came about just because the producers had an epiphany or just had an aha moment and decided, oh, why don't we turn Sav into this likable person? I don't get it, because I think Sav kicked off. When she kicked off, knowing that she's a lawyer, she must have brought up some law, and whatever she brought up, whatever jargon she brought up, the producers realized that, crap, we have to revamp her or reinvent her from the way we imagined her at the start, because there's no justification as to what's happened, in the sense that Clint came in, he only stood for Savannah, and he's treated Savannah the way she should have been treated. We haven't heard Sav say any crass comments. We haven't heard any negativity from Sav. All of a sudden, she's this darling sweetheart because she's coupled up with Clint. I don't get it. I think Sav kicked off after the movie night, and I think the producers were able to sort of keep her sweet, or were able to butter her up and keep her on the show by telling her what they felt she wanted to hear. Otherwise, there's no justification for what's happened. They were in this jacuzzi on some rooftop, and it's like, how does that equate to Tyra and Kale on the beach after having ridden horses for God knows how long, maybe just a few minutes, or Reed and Chloe sitting in front of this little tiny church somewhere with someone playing a guitar? How does that equate? And then obviously the producers' favorites, Zach and Lucinda, got to go last. They put them in a cave. I feel like the majority of the budget, 50% of the budget, if not 55, was spent on Zach and Lucinda's date. They were in a cave, they had a violinist, they had flowers, they had everything everywhere. And yet you had other people on a little picnic date. It doesn't measure up. It shows you who the producers want to win and who is their favorites. I think they've always wanted Zach and Lucinda to win, and this is why they took away Nate and Georgia, because there's no way they could make Zach and Lucinda win with Georgia and Nate in the final, because people would kick off, not realizing that people are already kicking off because Nate did not deserve to go home. He didn't. He deserved to be in the top three, if not the winner, given everything that he's been through. So the idea that he goes home and then you have these four couples left, none of them appear to be truly in love. Maybe Tyra and Kale, if I'm sort of looking, or if I have to. Otherwise, the other three are just there just for opportunities, as far as I'm concerned. And to give Zach and Lucinda the most amazing date, given how terribly Zach has behaved throughout the season, how malicious and very mean girl Lucinda has been throughout the season, I don't get how the producers suddenly want to reward them with that. I don't get it. Anyway, they come back from their dates. Everybody else is still reminiscing on their dates. And it's like, if we're being honest, some people had $100 spent on their date, Tyra and Kale. $200 spent on what's his name? Reed and Chloe. Sav, maybe a couple of hundred. And then the majority of the budget went to Zach and Lucinda. How do you balance that out? How do you make that make sense? I don't get it. So Zach and Lucinda returned from their date, and they're sort of describing what went on. And you can see by the looks on everybody's face that they know that Zach and Lucinda got the best date. They really are not that impressed when Zach and Lucinda are sort of describing, oh, we went into a cave, oh, we had a musician, oh, we had this. And people are sort of, you can tell that the producers favored Zach and Lucinda. They are the people that they wanted to win, and they gave them the date that they wanted them to get. And it's not fair when you compare to what everybody else got. I don't see how they can justify that. I have a feeling that Zach and Saf came up with a plan of how to stay in the villa right at the start, when they both decided to be carrying water from one side to the other, when they decided to be sort of telling each other gossip about the girls or the boys. And then they made themselves valuable in the sense that they mixed things up and created a lot of drama and toxicity. And this is why they've got to the final, because there's no reason why they would have got this far. Anyway, they then receive a text message together around the fire pit, and it's revealed that one couple will be leaving. And it's like, why didn't the public get to vote for the top four anyway? And so looking at the top four, it's no surprise that who's going to go home. I automatically expected Reed and Chloe to go home, because Reed has been very flip-floppy, and I don't think the viewers would have wanted him to stay in the villa given how he has jumped from bed to bed to bed to bed. So he gets to go home with Chloe. And Sophie asks, did you think maybe you should have taken the money? And Reed is like, no. And it's like, nah, he did think about it. I have a feeling had they been sitting next to each other, they would have given each other a hint, and they would have taken the money and split it between the two of them, or Reed would have just taken the money and run. Anyway, they get to pack and go home. And I don't get why Lucinda's being made to be this, oh, she's a girl's girl, she has to talk to everyone that's been eliminated and has to have a final conversation and praise that person. I don't get it. I have a feeling when it was announced that Sav was safe with Clint, you could see it by the looks on Zach and Lucinda's faces that they automatically think they've won. I don't think Zach and Lucinda should win, neither do I think Tara and Kale should win. I think, to spite everyone, Sav and Clint should win. That way people stop coming up with plans, because if you remember on Love Island USA, Timmy and Zita later came out that they planned to win, and so they pretended to be all lovey-dovey so that they could stay as a couple and win the money. And once they won the money, something happened, in the sense that I think Timmy decided he wasn't going to play ball anymore, and this is when Zita came up and sort of started talking about their relationships. And it eventually came out that they pretended to be in a loving relationship when they were not. It was a business arrangement between the two of them. And I have a feeling a lot of these relationships in the villa at the moment are transactional. And it's a pity that the producers have left the worst top three. Yeah, Tyra and Kale are okay, but I really feel like there's something missing about them as a couple. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. Am I impressed by the top three? No. As I said, I want Clint and Savannah to win, to spite Zach and Lucinda, to show them that we're not going to reward bad behavior, because next season you're going to have someone come in and use the same playbook. So why do that? Don't let them win. The same as Tara and Kale. I don't think they deserve to win. I really haven't seen their relationship. It's always been sort of hidden. We've barely got to see them talk. So I have a feeling that the producers want either Zach and Lucinda to win, or they want Sav and Clint. My money's on Sav and Clint. But anyway, I digress. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 27. Bye everyone.